Hey guys, welcome back from Classic Work. I know a lot of people have really missed my videos over the years. That I've taken more of a hiatus than I probably should have. But anyways, I'm going to start a brand new series. I hope you all guys like it. It's going to be a lot of shorter videos on the basics, on skills that we've lost over the years. And the one that I want to cover today is how to sharpen a drill bit by hand. Now, there are some decent videos out there on YouTube on how to sharpen a drill bit. It seems like every one of them, except for one of them that I've seen, once they've sharpened a drill bit, they have not shown if it even cut anything. You can make something look really good and it still doesn't work. So anyways, I'm going to give y'all the real nitty-gritty today on drill bits, and so there ain't going to be no horsing around and no BS basically. So this is a traditional style jobber bit is what it's called. This is standard length. This is a common twist drill basically. Okay, you can see this one's had a lot of hours put on it. I have probably sharpened this drill bit probably 3 or 4 dozen times. That's probably pretty accurate. So a drill bit is not a hard thing to maintain, and you can see it has tons of life left on it. You're just making the drill bit shorter essentially. But a lot of people, when they dull a bit, they'll be lost in the bottom of a drawer or whatever, and they'll never use that bit again basically. You waste a lot of money, you know, buying new drill bits. Okay, quality wise on stuff, drill bits are one of those things that I've seen some Ling Long from China drill bits that drilled great, and I've seen American bits that would not hold up. It all has to do with the steel and the temperament that they use to make the bit. Anyways, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. I know this video is already going to be too long. So this is traditional style drill bit. There's lots of other styles, okay? This is a Morse taper. If you ever see any drill bits that have this shank, they're designed to be in an old school drill press. So this one right here is a number 2 Morse taper. Here's another number 2, different size. Let's see if I've got a number 3. Here's a number 3. You can see it's a little bit bigger. Of course, this bit's stupid long. And then here's a number 4, I think. See, the shanks are getting a little bit bigger. And of course, that's a much bigger bit. And I think that's as big as I've got as a number 4. So that's a 2-inch bit that also has a number 4 Morse taper. Sadly, I don't have any 5s, I don't think, because most of my machines are not heavy enough to pull them. So you have to have a man of a drill press to pull any of these. So a lot of people don't talk about the traditional style drill bits anymore, probably because they're outdated, but they still drill holes. They still do what they did, 100 years ago. So anyways, we're going to pick a couple of these and sharpen them. I'm going to show you my favorite technique that I've ever seen to sharpen a standard style drill bit. Okay, I'm going to be sharpening these on a belt grinder, mostly because I want to be able to show on these big bits the geometry that you're doing. You could easily do this on a pestle grinder. I'm only doing it just to help y'all basically, so don't think you have to have a belt grinder in order to grind these. Okay, so the technique that I was always taught is you always start down here at the bottom of your flute, and you actually roll the drill bit into the cutting edge. Okay, and what that does is, one, it gives you lots of meat on the back of the bit, and it'll also put your taper in there all in one move, and then you can focus on your edge when you get closer to the top. Now this drill bit is not that dull, and it does need a little bit of sharpening, but let's just see the technique in action.
So I'm going to try to explain what's going on. This is not the best angle to show what I'm looking at in the cutting edge. But if you can tell right now, all I'm doing is trying to put some relief in the back of the flute. That's why this is known as the roll technique. So if you can tell, I got my left thumb inside the flute right there, and you just kind of pivot off of your prop hand. Now right there, I was focusing on the edge. So you'll see I'll twist the drill, and then you just rock it back and forth on your back of your flute to get the nice curvature that you need. And like I said, that you'll be doing two things at once. You'll be creating relief and you'll be getting your edge a little bit closer. You see how I tip the drill bit up and now I focus on the edge. So that'll be the only flat part of the actual cutting edge is on that. Now, one thing you got to pay really close attention to is that drill bit when I was focusing on the edge right here. You notice the drill bit is not 90 degrees to that belt. Okay, there's a little bit of an angle there, and that is to help with the relief. So, like I said, this is a technique that takes a lot of practice. It's something that you can't just pick it up in you know, an hour. It takes, you got to sharpen probably a good 20 or 30 drill bits before you get decent enough with it, and then you got to sharpen, I would say, over 100 before you can get really, really good at it.
So basically, the other thing is don't worry so much about the angle unless you're doing a lot of precision work. Our twist drill is designed to make a hole, okay? You follow it up with boring or a reamer or something like that to get it round, because a drill bit does not drill a round hole. So let me zoom y'all in on the top of the technique.
I'm just going to show just a little bit about what you're really going to see. A little bit better angle of the same technique. So from this angle you can really see, you know, you've got a really good look at the cutting edge. Once again, you can see I've got my left hand planted in the flute and just use that hand more or less to pivot with. Now this drill bit that I was sharpening was the really long one. I think that was either the 12 or the 16 inch. I think that was a 3/4 inch drill bit. So you can see roll technique once again. You roll into it, and then whenever you get to a certain spot, you focus on your edge. And I hate to keep this being like a broken record, just saying the same thing over and over again, but that's how you get good at this. And once again, right here, focus on the flat. It doesn't take much, and with a smaller drill bit, it takes less time actually, because you're not trying to more or less cut so much more material. Now, there you go. I went up higher on the belt that time. I don't know if you saw that. And you may be asking me, oh, you can't do this with a pedestal grinder. You absolutely can do this with a pedestal grinder. It is, if anything, it's easier because you don't have to push near as far, because the grinder part of it, the round part, you only have to ride up maybe a half an inch, and you're already, you know, you've already ground your back flute, basically. So you can see that I'm looking to make sure that I'm grinding all the way across the entire flute, because all of your cutting edge basically is on the very end. Usually when you break a drill bit, it's the cutting edge on the absolute end part of the drill bit. That's a very common thing to happen. All your dulling usually goes on your end, so that's usually what you have to focus on the most. So just a little look at the technique, but you get the idea.
So we'll drill this hole with this nice 1.5" drill bit we just sharpened. So you normally always want to drill a pilot hole, because your webs here are so big, it pushes so much metal that we could drill all this way, you know, one shot it, but it would struggle pretty bad. We'd be here for an hour or so. We'll go ahead and pilot drill it with 1/2 inch, and then go from there. punch that 1/2 inch pretty quick. How long did that take? About a minute. So that's some punky steel. I don't know what that is, but it's old and a pile of crap, but there you go. One I sharpen. And no issues. A little bit of the tip got a little bit burned because I didn't use any coolant, but it's still in fine shape. So, alright, so we'll take the chuck out and we'll go up to the 1.5 inches. Okay, this is a number 4 Morse taper. You have to get these in, engaged. I recommend you do this, but it works fine. You can kind of bump your flute there to get them kind of set. Now on this drill press I'll have to change the gearing on it because we got to go a lot slower. Alright, now we're in back gear, second gear, and continue on. We'll get some coolant for this one. Well, there you go. That took about 10 minutes. As you can tell, you can look at the chip and see how shiny a cut that is. So if you wanted to use a belt grinder like I did, you could put a finer belt on there and even get a better cutting edge. So anyways, we'll take it out, show you the drill bit. As you can tell, she's still sharp. A lot of that has to do with your technique. When you get to the bottom of the hole, just don't try to push right through it and take a big chip, because you'll always break a corner off your cutting edge. That's where all of your pressure normally is right on the end. There's a little bit of dulling, but you could easily clean that up on a grinder in probably about 3 seconds. So there you go. There's your 1.5 inch hole. Well, while we're drilling it, let's just go ahead and take her to 2 inch. Reset the camera. Seat the drill bit a little bit. That'll do her. Let's make sure we're still on task here. Oh yeah. Alright. Now this gear that I'm in, it may be too fast, but we'll try that. And there's you a nice 2-inch hole. Could you have done that with a hole saw? Yes. This is only 1/2-inch plate. But if that would have been 1-inch plate, which would have been almost impossible to do with a hole saw, it still would have done it that easily. So there are benefits to the old traditional style twist drill. I just wanted to leave out that this technique will work on any style twist drill. Doesn't matter what size it is. I mean, you can even, I've even sharpened 1/8 drill bits. If you're patient enough to learn the technique for the roll, it'll work on any of them. It's super simple. You don't have to worry about angles. You don't have to worry about nothing. As long as you get your cutting edge, as long as you get this part down lower, or up higher I should say, than the back end of your flute. I don't know if you can see it real well. That's why I use these big bits to illustrate that. As long as this cutting edge right here is higher than any of this back here, and you break that sun gun off nice and flat, it'll work. I guarantee you this bit is probably the most accurate out of all of them, because I did check it with a drill bit gauge. But like I said, you saw me sharpen all those by hand with no gauges, and it'll work every time. So practice out there, get good at it, and you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. Thanks again from Classic Work. Y'all take care. God bless.